Up, you fish freaks? Welcome to episode number 132 of the one and only KFO show, Kayak Fishing Obsessed. Today's episode is actually one I've been looking forward to for a while because we're diving into something that every angler is obsessed with: lures, and not just buying them, not just hoarding them, but actually building them. So we're talking to Danny from Brazallo Custom Lures, a small batch lure company that's been quietly building a serious reputation for making baits designed to catch pressured bass in the real world. So we're getting the full story, how Brazalo started, how his baits are designed, and what goes into building a lure company from scratch. And of course, which baits you need to have tied on right now.
Yep.
Wyatt, how you doing, man?
Doing good. So I'll say this is going to be a Buzzbait one. So I'm a huge Buzzbait fan right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody thinks it's a little too cold, but no, I don't know. Once it hits 55 degrees, start chucking it and go nuts.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited to hop into that. Before we get there into the juice of this, we got a new show sponsor. So that is going to be Kayak. Sorry, I'm not feeling well tonight.
Hey fast.
Yeah, that company I started 2 weeks ago with Chad. Yeah, it's brought to you Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training. Kayak fishing is one of the most rewarding ways to chase fish, but it comes with risk that most anglers never really trained for. So KFAST was actually designed to change that. It's the first online safety certification designed specifically for kayak anglers, covering everything from gear to trip planning to self-rescue, emergency decision-making. You can take it at your own pace from anywhere. Head over to kfast.co and get certified today. Check that out. Wyatt, you just finished that up, didn't you?
Yep. So I finished mine up last week, and it was pretty cool. Like I've been kayak fishing for years, but it still dropped some things that you don't really think of. It dropped a little hints about stuff. Like I know we talked about there was a piece in it about anchoring and tide and current and stuff like that, and that's one of the things that like resonated with me because I anchored one like years ago whenever I first started kayak fishing. I anchored in the tide, and I found out very quickly why you don't do that because I didn't have a knife on me at the time, and I had to improvise cutting that line because my kayak was starting to go under the water with the tide coming up. So I say for people who are just starting out, even people who've been fishing for years, it still has some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of psychology to those who've been fishing for many years because when you do something with repetition, you almost feel like you almost feel like you're invincible. It's crazy. I've been writing the advanced curriculum, and there's a lot of psychology behind it. I was like, holy crap, this is why us anglers do this. We don't realize we're doing it, but a lot of us are doing it. So I'm on lesson 4 right now, and so we have 13. So we got a little ways to go, but that curriculum is coming along for those who took basic. Advanced is coming, and it's going to be freaking awesome. All right, Wyatt, we have Danny sitting over here in the green room, and I still want to see how your week was. I know you fished TKS. Let's go ahead and bring Danny out of the green room. Welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
What's up? I made it.
You did make it. I like it. I've had guests not make it before. I was like, all right, here we go. It doesn't happen too often.
I'm still at the shop. I've been here since 5 o'clock this morning.
Bro.
And my wife brought me dinner, and she's like, "Why didn't you come home and do this?" I said, "Babe, if I went home, I'm going to sit down on the couch because I'm still recuperating from traveling. Oh, yeah. I would have probably fell asleep."
Game over. Gotta stay at work. The bright lights keep you awake.
Yeah. So I've been stocking the shelves with all the stuff we brought back from the shows and all that kind of stuff. So I'm keeping busy. I do apologize if you hear my intro music in the background. I have a dance studio in the building next to me, and they get a little loud up here sometimes. So.
All right, I'm just gonna go with it. That sounds. I want it to happen now because it sounds awesome.
Yeah,
rave party tonight. Well, awesome. Well, Danny, thanks for coming on tonight. If you guys might recognize this face, I did a short or two because when I was at the Columbus Expo, that's where I met him. And when I did the interview, I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna be perfect if I can get him on the podcast because just how he talked about Buzzbaits and the design, I was like, okay. That'll be a good show. Let's see if I can get a hold of him. And here he is. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Danny, before we get into kind of the story, and I want to know the full story of Brazalo. I love hearing I started in my garage story as to what it is today. But Wyatt, this past week, you were down at the old Team Kayak Series. Down in Florida? Yeah.
Florida again. Back to Florida. Back down the Harris chain.
How'd it go?
So it was pretty fun. Harris Chain is obviously fishing very tough. If you watch the Elite Series, a couple weeks ago, they were struggling. We went out there, we were struggling. They had a 200 something boat tournament going on at that same time. But I went out there and I caught a ton of fish. I know I ended up fishing a popka, and if you've ever fished a popka, to get to some of the best spots, it's an hour and 15-minute run in my boat.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there for an hour and 15 minutes, 45 minutes.
45 minutes burn. Everyone else is catching fish.
Yep. And I pull up to that spot, and it's a community hole. So there's 20 boats there, and I'm watching people catch like 6-pounders and like, yeah, screaming and all that. But I mean, I had a good time. I ended up playing, we ended up placing third. But
hey, I mean, got in the money.
Yep. The money. We got a little placard.
Add it to the wall.
Add it to the wall back there. I'll put it on the.
Wyatt doesn't buy wallpaper. He just goes and wins first, second, and third in every tournament he fishes. So he just
it's like team kayak series. It's an awesome format. If I can pimp it out a little bit.
I believe did Kylie Short come second place?
Second place. They signed up on Wednesday. And I don't believe they actually practiced. I'm pretty sure they did not actually even practice for it.
He's got time to practice.
So she is actually part of our team.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. So, yeah.
I'm trying to get her on the show, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic representation. I mean, it's a cool format for anybody who's ever fished that team kind of stuff where, the pressure is not on you to catch through all 5 fish in one day, and then you got to catch 5 big fish the next day. You can catch 10 fish over 2 days. So like I put it to my partner, it's like we only have to catch 3 solid fish a day.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes a lot of the pressure off. Plus, like, it's a team format. So we had husbands and wives out there. Wendy Biles and her husband were out there. You've got, fathers and daughters out there. The clients were out there, and like everybody's having a fantastic time. It's, you can go hang out with your buddy fishing, and you can talk to him and call him on the phone and all that. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Faircloth your teammate? Was Faircloth your teammate?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Justin, my teammate for it. So it's cool because I can call him and be like, "Hey man, I'm catching fish. Come on over here."
Yeah. He's like, "I'll see you in 2.5 hours."
Yep.
Well, congrats, Wyatt. I expected nothing less than third, to be completely honest with you. If you would have got fourth, I would have been wildly surprised. How many anglers were fishing that one?
That one was 30 to 32. Yep.
All right, so you guys, you're rocking 16 teams out there, plus 200 rando boats. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine.
And to think a college series going on. It was a madhouse out there.
Really? I remember one time this past summer, I looked around on this very popular lake ground for bass fishing. I counted 17 vessels just by looking around me that I could see. It's not very. Some of you guys might be like, "Oh, that's nothing." Well, up here in Ohio, it's getting 5 or 6 boats on a lake is that's not very crowded.
Half the fishermen in the state out there going out.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, Danny, I want to start peeling back the layers of the onion on Brazalo. Saw you at Columbus Expo. I knew about you before then because let me see here. I got my hands on this guy. Oh, I'm running out of room on the wall. The Brazalo. This is the ProBuzz, right?
That is I believe that's the M1.
Is it the M1? I don't remember.
The M1 straight shank.
There it is.
Yeah.
And I have a
phenom shank bait right there. That is our beast Buzzbait.
Yeah, there it is, folks. I know you guys can't see it, but he'll explain it.
That's our M1, yeah.
And this is the Phenom frog on the back of it, but big fan. But I need to get my hands on some of the other ones that you got. So, before we go tactical, tell me the story, right?
All right. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start the day I was on the lake and got lost the last of some jigs that I'd had for a long time, and the company wouldn't make them for me again? I won't name the company because they're very large. And I told my buddy, I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna start making my own jigs. And that's literally what Brazallo Custom Lure started as, is technically a jig company, because I did like everybody else. I had a little bitty shop behind my house that I kind of retrofitted to accommodate me. I've got a desk in here that I'm sitting at right now that is literally bigger than the workspace I was working out of. You know, I was literally pouring, and then I'd clear all the stuff off to pour, and then I would get my fluid beds out, and you know, I'd paint, and I had a little bitty tiny oven that one of my truck drivers gave me.
Okay.
And he gave it to me. That's what I baked all my heads in, and then I would tie them all like right there on a very small workspace, like 4 feet of bench, and that's all it was.
You said one of your truck drivers.
Yeah.
I was
in the trucking industry for about 25 years. And I worked for FedEx. I've worked for AAA Cooper. I've been pretty high up in the food chain on all that stuff. And my last deal was the operations manager for AAA Cooper on outbound. And then when this started going nuts, I was 45 years old, and I told my wife, I said, you know, we struggled with it for a while because I was leaving a good job. And I said, well,
I know
I've been doing this long enough, and I hate to use this as a parachute, but you know, if it doesn't work out, I can go back. I can go back into the industry and I'll be just fine.
I had that exact same conversation with my wife. Like, I know all those feelings that you just said. It's like, okay.
Yeah. It's scary. It's still to this day scary. That was in 2021, and here we are going into 26.
So the feeling never goes away, you're telling me?
No.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what all you got your hands into, but you know, when you start acquiring employees and lease payments, and it starts to get like, okay, so we got through this week. What about the next,
taxes
50 to go?
Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot more than people realize. People think you just hop in front of the camera and go fishing every day.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. So you just decided, hey, I ran out of jigs. They're not gonna make any more.
Yeah. So, and I ran out of that, and I'm kind of that classic. You know, I was just working out of a shed in my backyard, and my buddy wanted to start. You know, I gave him some of the jigs. He liked them, and I was just using do-it mold stuff. I didn't, that's all I started out doing.
Oh yeah, I started there.
And next thing I know, I got other guys asking me at the boat ramps, and I started selling them out of my truck. It was like, just keep, like $3 a piece for baits, and
$3. That's a steal.
Yeah, it was. And they were all rubber band at that. I was learning how to do all that, and a lot of the first flight baits were, it was an education process. So they weren't great, and then we started I started taking hacksaws and Dremels to molds, and started making spinner baits and all kinds of stuff. And then the one thing I didn't have in my lineup was a buzzbait that made noise. And we worked on that one for a while, and we came up with this bait that was catching fish for us, and we were like, we weren't telling anybody about it because we were just making it for ourselves,
right?
And then I decided to start making a bunch of them. And when I tell you that I went to a show and I had 1,000 of these buzz baits made that were 100% hand built.
1,000.
1,000. And
how long does it take a
I don't even want to think about how long it took me to build 1,000 baits back then, because
keep going.
Wire, just the wire alone. We have custom wire forms now that we have bent for us that we buy, and the baits are still hand built. It's still the nature of the beast with it because of how, the bait itself. But I would buy my wire in coils.
Yeah.
So I'd have these huge, just massive, like 3-foot diameter coils of wire that I would stretch out across my neighborhood. I literally would go outside in the middle of the night, and it would go out of my backyard into my front yard, across the street into my neighbor's yard, and I'm literally in there cutting this wire. And then I would have to bend it. I would have to bend it all to get this shape out of it. and lots of blisters, lots of blood, lots of so that's where the bushwhacker was born, was kind of right back there, and it's still our flagship bait to this day. And they were all hand poured, hand painted. We painted them in fluid beds and all. So it's kind of I still think back to that shop that's no longer there. I tore it down. It's not even there anymore. But it was. I got a wild hair one day before COVID, and I purchased a spin cast because I saw one time, and I thought that looks really cool. Like I think I would enjoy messing around with that. So spin cast machine, is a centrifugal casting machine. We've got cylindrical molds that are, they're round, and they've got a hole in the top of them. They got all these cavities in it, and then the machine's got a funnel that goes down through a pressure plate.
Okay.
And it pours them. And when they come out of it, they're ready to go. There's no cleanup or anything. So let's just take, jigs, for instance. The fastest I ever poured one night was 115 baits an hour.
Bro.
And just to put that into perspective, I warped the mold. I would have to stop pouring.
Too hot.
Set the mold outside, and then you have to clean all the sprues off of them because they've got a little tag on them, and then you have to shave them down. So I timed myself. I was like 115 of them, and then filing them, cutting sprues, turned into roughly about 45 that were basically completed in an hour. Once you broke down the time frame on it.
That's still crazy.
My spin cast machine, I can do upwards of anywhere between 500 to 3,000 an hour now with no cleanup whatsoever.
Whoa.
Depending on what style jig or bait that we're running in it.
All right.
So, so now you got a spin cast machine, you're starting to pour these baits, and it's something that's like kind of just for yourself, and you're like, wow, this is overkill.
Yeah, but to say, how much is a spin cast machine? Doesn't sound inexpensive.
Well, no, I bought one that was not running very well, and the company I bought it from had just acquired it, and then I paid them to basically refurbish it. So purchase price on it was $2,200, and then to refurbish it was another $1,500 because they had put a new motor on it and they put new bearings all in it, and and just fixed it all back up. And it was an old machine, very old machine. I still have the machine.
Yeah.
And so, long and short on a running, to have a running machine at that time, I mean, it was, we were at, $4,000, something like that we had it with shipping and everything. And now those machines, I mean, if you go buy a brand new one, they run anywhere between $6,000 to $20,000, depending on what you get. Okay. 6,000 being like the most simple, of them all. We've got 4 of them now. So, so the 150 square foot shop that I got, is no longer there, and we're in almost 3,000 square feet.
Bro,
that's what we're rolling in. So,
congrats, man.
It's been a wild ride.
Well, I want to dig into that ride a little bit more here, but I always love to pay attention to those over here in the comment section. Wyatt, anything that jump out, you're like, hey, let's talk about that.
Let's say I had that same question that Mike's got on the WeeWhacker.
Oh, go ahead and ask it.
They want to know what's the favorite trailer on it.
My favorite. So the WeeWhacker, I've got a few trailers that I like to throw on it. The BF code.
WeeWhacker. It might be some people for the first time have no clue what you're talking about. So walk us through like someone's not watching it right now.
This is a WeeWhacker. This is a 4-inch buzzbait. This is quite possibly it probably is the smallest clacking style buzzbait. So it clacks on this bead right here. Mm-hmm. And it just hit that bead. So it's a very subtle bait. It's subtle but it is an aggressive bait. So there was a lot of work that went into that, and a lot of just our trial and error from over the years building baits and the education that we've got, stuff like that. So This bait took, so actually in all reality, that M1 you like to fish,
Yeah,
is the big brother.
Oh, okay.
So the M1 was actually the first one that I built. That was the first, kind of the two. It was the first one of the two. We had the Bushwhacker. So the OG, what we call the OG, is basically the Bushwhacker that has a head on it. Now the head's changed since the original one. We redesigned the head and made it, something completely different and to something to our likings. And then, we came out with the Pro model, which is now the Schlopper Pro model.
Yeah.
I built that one. It was my first custom bait that I built, from scratch, with the head design and everything on that. We retired that after about a year and a half or so because there was, some stuff I wanted to change on it. We built the Pro Elite, which now we're actually talking about discontinuing it because the Pro came back, which it sounds confusing, but
super confused. I'm not gonna lie. We'll go through the website here in a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to build so the Bushwhacker has a problem, and it's great in so many different areas, but it has one drawback, and that is grass. It does not like matted style grass because the drop that's on it picks up a lot of trash and stuff. So if you're fishing around docks or riprap and and stuff like that, the Bushwhacker is hands down the winner for that because the hookup ratio is insane on it. But there was one of the lakes that were fishing around us had a lot of hydrilla and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna go build a bait for that. And the M1, which it is now, we used to call it, so the code word on it when we were building it was a mag whacker because of how just overkill buzzbait that it is. But we decided, it was built like a tank, so we decided to call it the M1. Plus, we had too many things that were whacker, like WeeWhacker, Bushwhacker, all this stuff.
You're running out of them.
Yeah, we were pretty much whacked out. So, we came up with the M1. Well, once the M1 prototype, we had that kind of drilled down what we wanted to do on it, and I was just sitting on the couch one night, and I went, make that to a smaller one. That would be really cool. So I started on the small one, which is the WeeWhackers. The we, not weed, like little.
We.
And so we were actually going to launch both of them at the same time, but I saw something happen in the market that warded me off of it. And that was when Berkeley launched out the Credge and the Finisher at the same time.
Okay.
And the Credge got all of the attention. It was a kind of a, cool jerkbait style, and the Finisher was actually the one that was the fish catcher. That thing was insane. But, the Credge is still out on the market and the Finisher just kind of fizzled out into nothing.
Huh.
I didn't want that to happen.
Sure.
So
I always slow roll it. Why not? I guess.
Yep. Spread it out a little bit. So we decided which bait is going to make the most impact. The WeeWhacker. There's nothing else on the market. We searched high and low for a bait similar to it.
Which, by the way, is kind of amazing that you didn't find something, right?
That was the wild part.
It's wild.
It was like
just find something, right?
And there was like a couple of baits that I found. I was like, hey, I don't know. That might be. And then when I got it, it was like twice the size, 3 times the size of it. And I went, yeah, we're going to go ahead and launch that. And we're going to hold that M1 off. We'll just hold it off. We had all the components for it and everything. It was an easy build. The M1, on the other hand, not so much. The M1 the WeeWhacker almost did not happen.
Okay.
So
you're drawing me in. I love your storytelling abilities. Danny, bring me in. What we got?
We went through 6 prototypes on the weight because there were certain things we wanted the WeeWhacker to do that other buzzbaits can't do.
Okay.
So we wanted it to have like superpower, like basically the Mighty Mouse of the buzzbait world, we finally got
superpower. Yeah. How do you do that?
Yeah. So finally we got one rendition done that was like, I like that one. So, and then we started custom bending wire, which the wire we were custom bending we were just using spinnerbait wire because there's just, we just had some around. So we just started kind of hacking it up and laying it in there and stuff. And And so once we got everything done, the wire was perfect. You know, we had these prototype wire and the sleeves and, you know, all these kind of parts. So we sent off the prototype wire to get done. And then the mold showed up for the bait.
Mhm.
So we had the molds. We already knew a hook we were going to run in there. Called a company to build this custom sleeve that's inside of it. And they were like, you know, my wire guy said, how long before the wires are ready? He said, man, 3 weeks. I was like, sweet. I need 20,000 wires right out the gate. He's like, all right, man. Yeah, about 3 weeks. That'll be good. I was like, okay. Sleeves. How long for the sleeves? 8 to 12 weeks. All right. Well, we can deal with that. So the sleeve showed up in 7 days.
Awesome.
I was like, all right, we about to launch this dude out. So we were gunning for 1st of May, like first week of May in 2024. Like, we're going to launch this, man. Perfect post-spawn, top water bite. This is going to be epic.
Right.
You know, like
timing's right. You only get
yeah,
that timing.
the timing's right.
Once a year.
I didn't get my wire until July. And then when we got the wire, it was wrong.
Awesome.
100% wrong. So I'm sitting there, like, the wire was on its way. You know, we called the wire company and he's like, I got it. It's on the way. It'll be there Friday. Overnight it to me. So it's here Friday. All right, cool. So they sent half of it on Friday.
Okay.
And it never showed up. So this is like in the last week of June and the wire never showed up. And we're all sitting over at we have already like got this plan. We started
prepping everything.
No, we had them on the website.
Oh, okay. You're taking orders.
Yeah, we're taking orders. We're taking orders. Orders were going very well. Orders were going very well, and we're just all sitting around like, it's not good.
Every second.
Don't have any baits. And then
you got about 3 days for people to start writing you.
Yeah. So
what's going on?
Monday comes along, and the wire didn't show up on Monday. It was lost. The wire that we paid about $60 to get overnighted never showed up. And the wire that got mailed out on Friday showed up on Wednesday, along with the wire that was supposed to be there on Friday.
Oh, wow. All right.
We got it. We cracked it open. We threw it in there. We're like, yeah, all right, cool. Guy built the wire backwards. So the wire here on this side was supposed to be longer.
Yeah.
And the sleeve was supposed to sit on top of the head, crimp the head down, crimp the sleeve down, and this was supposed to be a shorter wire for the blade. Yeah, he flipped that around. So we had a short wire on this side and this long wire that went almost down to the hook point on this side. And I'm just, oh man, I was just like, I had to go stand outside and just like scream in silence kind of thing. And the two guys that were working for me at that time, I just went in there and I was like, hey man, he's what I said, yeah, I need to go get some lunch or something. And I'm going to figure this out and get back. And so anyway, they went and got some lunch and come back. I was like, I fixed it. They're like, you did? I said, I actually think I made it better. And so I showed them what we did. So instead of the sleeve sitting outside the whole bait, we put it inside the bait. So it made the bait stronger. So this bait right here, the weakest point is going to be at the head. We put that sleeve in there and it stays straight. So it secures it better. And I was like, we're going to make it work. We started pouring heads. All was right with the world, and everybody started getting this bait, and it's the biggest launch I've ever had on a bait because we had Bass Geek was doing videos on it. We called all of these people on social media that were fishing ponds and creeks and all kinds of stuff, and we went to so previous to that, I'll kind of rewind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The things we wanted the bait to do. So what is one thing that you can't typically do with a buzzbait?
Skip it.
Exactly. So I had video footage of this bait skipping it like 50 feet through buck brush.
Oh, come on.
With a double-tailed grove on it.
Oh, wow.
So in March at Tulsa, I had that video footage on my phone. And I'm walking around talking to, a bunch of the pros that I've met over the years and stuff. And I was like, dude, I got something I want to show you. I think this is going to be huge. And they were like, what's that? And I was like, well, what's something you can't do with a buzzbait? Because obviously I'm known as a buzzbait guy.
Yep.
And they're like, well, you can't skip it. And I showed him that video. It went nuts at the Classic. There was pros dragging people around to come find me. Like, show them that video. And it's like, and, in the video, I skipped it, probably about 50 feet right past the stump. And in the video, a 4-pounder just annihilates it.
Gosh, that's awesome.
And I literally had shot the video a week before the Classic. And so it was like really cold. It was still kind of cool out. And we were catching them on that buzzbait. And so we had that big hype right then too. So yeah, it was, the WeeWhacker still today is our #1 selling buzzbait now.
Dude, this is crazy because essentially you created it by accident.
Absolutely. It was never, I had no intentions of building it.
No.
And I was just like, I think I'm going to do that. I think a little bitty one, it would be really cool, and
well, I'm talking the mistake of the wire. Like you wouldn't have bent it in the way.
Yeah.
It didn't come incorrect. So you just, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And we haven't changed it. We're not going to change it.
No, you shouldn't.
No. So we have a new version of it coming out.
All right, here we go. And really quick, before you launch into that new version, we are 35 minutes in. We were hitting 120 live at one point. We're like 90 right now. If you have not yet done so, please hit the like button. And something I don't ask very often is please go rate the show, right? If you love it, you're getting value out of it, go over there, rate it on Apple, wherever you're listening to your podcast at. Back to Danny. Danny, you're upgrading the WeeWhacker. What do you got?
I don't know if I'll call it an upgrade because it's kind of hard to upgrade something that turned out perfect.
I guess we'll let the anglers determine whether or not.
So I've had a lot of requests. So a lot of people call me and they'll ask me, can you put a skirt on it? Will you tie a skirt on it?
Okay.
I did not build that to put a skirt on this. This thing has literally got a head on it for a plastic bait, which, by the way, favorite is a BF toad, or I actually run horny toads on them, on that little bait. Okay. So you're talking about a half-ounce frog.
That was the question.
So the half-ounce frog. I run creature baits on it. We've run swim baits. We've actually run spunk sheds, pintail spunk sheds on it. So the world is your oyster. Just make sure you don't run anything that has a lot of salt in it. So probably the best skipping is going to be the BF toad or the tack toad from Tactical Fish Co. And then basically the menace, the little small menace.
Okay.
That thing, that and a horny toad, dude. The only problem with the horny toad is that when you go to skip it under boat docks, it typically comes out the other side because there's so much mass there to it. It typically comes out the other side. So it's a big behemoth. If you're really trying to get under some cover and a big bait is your flare, like that's kind of cool because those frogs are built to get up on top of water. They're built like a boat. So so they're really cool. So we are building a skirted version of the WeeWhacker because we've had a lot of requests for it. So it's still in CAD right now. It'll be an easy build. The company that does all my CAD work and my molds and stuff, they're really backed up right now. So we're shooting for probably late May on that. Okay. So
Chad's on time.
Yeah, it'll be. So that's what we're kind of shooting for. We've got 2 baits that we're launching a total of 11 baits this year. So, and this being one of them, and then we've got a new swim jig that's coming out.
Now we're talking
in a few weeks. So the molds should be done this week, and we kind of went in and redid we're not even redoing our swim jig. We're just not going to have that one anymore. It's going to be this new version of upgraded. So
yeah, Wyatt. I've never heard you get excited about buzzbaits before than earlier in the show.
I like all fishing. Like things that target big bass are some of my I know we're talking about the buzzbait, but like the nuances of the buzzbait. Like I experimented a long time ago with clacker versus non-clacker back when I lived on a golf course, and I could walk out there every night and throw a buzzbait. And when you had a non-clacking buzzbait, you were going to catch under 3 pounders. But I would bend the head and you start clicking, and it's immediately you start catching 3, 4, 5 pounders. Like you start catching giants whenever you start having clacker ones. And then I'll say you've got the tie right there in the bend that's going to keep the knot from sliding down.
Right.
You've got the crimped wire on there. So that little piece that holds the blade on is crimped, so it actually grinds against the blade, so it squeaks a little bit more. Like there's detail in the buzzbait. Like
so the line tie on here, the top of it, it's every one of them's hand tied. All the bushwhackers and the M1 are all hand tied. The WeeWhacker, we did a loop tie on that. So I know a lot of people talk about so the line doesn't slide down on it and all that kind of stuff. Is not why we put it in there. So we put this in there because if you've obviously bent blades down to hit the head or hit the wire and stuff like that. So after 4 or 5 casts, you have to retune it so that it keeps doing that, because there's a lot of stress put right here.
Yeah.
So this is something that we used to do a long time ago, or I used to do it, is that I would tie a braid around here and it would always hold it right in tune. Yeah. And I never really had to like retune the bait unless I, caught a fish, kind of mangled it up a little bit, and then I would. So that's something that I did for myself, because the first ones that we built were not tied. And every so often, every 4 to 6 casts, I was having to retune it. Well, that was the weakest point of the bait. They would always snap right there, because it's just like a coat hanger. You're just bending it in and out and it would break. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna tie it. And then once I kind of got faster at tying, I kind of learned how to whip finish stuff and all that. I started learning how to do these knots and stuff really fast, and I got really, really fast at it. And I was like, this is the way, this is what we're doing. And so it's twofold, it keeps this in tune. Yeah. And your line doesn't slide down or anything, but it also, so there's no flex in this bait. There's no flex right here in this bait. So when you set the hook on it, it drives all that power straight down to the hook. So that way there's there's no give in that bait. So I actually tell people to lighten the rod up just a smidge, get a little tip in that rod a little bit. Because you'll actually miss fish if you put too much rod on it.
Yeah.
So no, go ahead, Wyatt. What you got?
Are you a braid or a fluoro or a mono buzzbait guy?
So on my big buzz baits, I'm all braid. I'm a 40 to 50 pound braid. The M1, I'll throw it on 65 because I tend to throw it where you should probably throw a hollow body frog, and I'll throw that thing in there. Because we've had them drag it down in some stuff, man. We've had them drag it down in some stuff, and you hit them and you got to get them out. So the M1 has a much heavier wire and a bigger hook on it and stuff, so it can handle going through a lot of grass. So I know up in Ohio and stuff, there's a lot of grass and a lot of lakes and stuff. So, and plus those toothy critters that y'all got floating around in the water up there.
We have some. Most of them are rivers, but we got a few lakes around here.
Yeah. So, and then on the WeeWhacker, it's fluoro. I like fluoro pretty much on that because it's lower stretch than what mono is, and it's a little more manageable at that bait. So that bait's only 3/16 of an ounce weight on it. Oh, you can hear it, can't you?
I hear it now. I hear the party.
Yeah, dude. I see him bouncing over there. I can see Wyatt over here, like he's kind of smiling. So, yeah, I think it's Usher.
Oh, there you go.
So
all I hear is a beat. Doom, doom.
Yeah, they were banging on the wall a while ago. I have no idea what's going on over there. So,
that's amazing.
Apologize. I will apologize for that. Yeah, I almost moved a while ago so I could go into one of the other offices, but I was like, screw it. I'll be in there like messing around with something, and y'all will be like, come on. They should be done here in a few minutes. So
you're fine, man. You're fine. Keep going.
Anyway, when you put a plastic on the WeeWhacker, it weighs a ½ ounce. So there's no need for BFS or anything like that. I throw it on a medium heavy fast rod. with no less than 7:3 gear ratio in it.
Okay.
Because this bait, you can burn it, like literally burn that buzz bait, and it will not blow out. So that was one of the other things we wanted to do with this. So we actually catch schooling fish with this buzz bait.
Okay.
So the skipping, the burning, and it will slow roll as well. So it's honestly an incredible bait.
It's your number one bait.
It is, and it's like it's wild. So yeah, and then we had
real quick. What makes a bait popular like that? What happened? What's the story and lore behind it?
You know, I think it's because of its fishability. I think it's because like you can fish this bait anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we did build a bunch of hype up around it and stuff like that. But you're talking about the M1 and the Bushwhacker. You know, you're looking for a handful of really good bites during the day. Like it's got massive drawing power. You know, like Wyatt said, like, you know, it draws big bites on there. So if all I need is like a kicker fish, like I'm throwing the big bait, like, cause it's, you know, it's very loud. It disrupts a lot of water. It's going to ward off a lot of fish, but the ones that are really aggressive, it's going to grab. It's going to grab those 4s and 5s and pick them up and stuff. The WeeWhacker, on the other hand, you're talking about we've had 60 to 80 fish days on it.
Jeez. Can you imagine a topwater day? 50 to 60?
And anything from 10-inch fish to 6-7 pound fish get caught on it. We've got people that have sent us pictures of 6 pound smallmouth, and I've got one customer that came in here and they caught a 9.5 pounder, and then an hour later on the same bait caught one over 10.
Jeez.
And I was like, "Can I have that bait back?" He said,
right.
No. He said, "No, we're mounting that one, and that bait's hanging out of its mouth."
Retired.
Yeah. So we actually have a guy that has a clicker, and I haven't talked to him in a while, but last time I talked to him, he had one WeeWhacker and he had one of these clickers. He's a kayak guy too.
Yeah.
And he had over 160 fish on one of them.
Wow.
I was like, dude, that thing should have gave up the ghost like a long time ago. I was like, if you would have told me, you know, 60 fish before it gave up the ghost, I'd have been like, cool, you got a lot of fish out. This dude is still trucking with this thing, man. He said, hey, that's gonna keep going. So it's, you know, we try to build it. We try to build it right, you know, so it can last. Which some companies build stuff so that it'll catch a handful of fish and break, and then you got to go buy another one. But
planned obsolescence is the strategy, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. But we want to build quality baits that, you know, I know you're spending $10 on a Buzzbait, but we want it to go out and do what we say it's going to do, and we want it to do it for as long as it possibly can. So we put a lot of thought into the build for the angler, because, you know, we're anglers too. We're just not people over here building baits. You know, we literally go out on the water with the exact same bait. We don't custom build something different. You know, we pull it off the wall, slap the blade on it, and go out to the lake with it. So
send it.
Yeah.
I like it. Wyatt, what are you thinking over there?
Say I might be getting an order together.
Oh.
Like wondering. I mean, I hope there's no one watching going to the Bassmaster Championship against me here, but it's supposed to rain all next week in Tennessee, and I'm like, it's raining, it's pre-spawn, it's gonna be warm. Those fish will eat a buzzbait very well, and probably not a lot of people are gonna be throwing it. So I'm like, can I get those ordered in time and have them shipped to the Airbnb?
I had a guy came in here in the shop today, and he came straight to the wall with the buzzbaits on it and grabbed a handful of the WeeWhackers. Yeah. And I said, where are you headed to? And he told me where he was going. I was like, oh. He goes, yeah, they're biting it. I was like, wow. I mean, I know all the pear trees right here blooming, but I was like, he said, oh no, man, they're eating it. He said, you can find a pocket they're pushing that shad up into. He's like, they will annihilate that thing. I was like, awesome.
Oh my gosh. I got Johnny Bennett over here saying, love the WeeWhacker. You also have a distinct fishing Sam. Definitely going to buy one. Moment ago, someone actually said they did buy one.
I'll say if snake is, I'll say that's the ultimate test for the buzzbait or snakeheads.
Yeah.
So the M1 actually has caught. I I had somebody call me like, dude, we caught a dragon. And I was like, what? Like, what are you guys smoking over there? You know, it's like,
Off the dragon,
no,
dragon.
We got, dude, we caught, you know, and I don't even remember where they were at. And when I saw a picture, I was like, oh my God. Like, that is the largest snakehead I've ever seen in my life. He's like, I guess when they get up over 38 inches or something like that, they consider him like a dragon. Okay. Is like a trophy size snakehead.
Right. I learned something.
And again, I think this was 38 to 40 inch. I can't remember exactly, but he's literally sitting in his kayak holding this fish, and it dwarfed the guy. It was, and he was like, dude, he said it went up there and exploded on it, which that's doing snakehead do. He said, but we were in the river, current flowing in the river, and it drug it straight down into the grass. He said, and we horsed that thing out of there, got it to the boat. It was amazing. And I was like, well, how'd the buzzbait hold up? He goes, dude, I didn't even have to tune it. Like, what? He's like, yeah, didn't even have to tune it. I just went right back to throwing it. I was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
I would have thought like a fish like that would have obliterated that.
Yeah, mangled, chewed that thing up and spit it out. Yeah. 3 more angles I've ever had.
Anything over 30.
I got you. Anything over 30. Yeah. So it was big. It was like, it was almost just solid black. It was so big.
Wow.
Which we catch bowfin or grinnell around here.
Yeah, we get bowfin up here.
Yeah. But so I've never actually seen a snakehead. So it would probably terrify me when it blew up on it. So yeah, it's pretty wild, man. It's good stories. So, the strutter is our next one that's coming on like a hurricane.
Well, let's real quick. It's online, right?
What's that?
It's the strutter.
Yeah, the strutter. Yeah. That's our bladed jig. This is our third version, which we call it the 2.0. The strutter started out as something I bought that I built for myself because I could not sell direct connect bladed jig to anybody. So every now and then I would let some out, I do some custom colors because we used to get on TikTok and do lives and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would get on there and I was like, hey man, ain't nobody looking. You guys, let me tie up a couple of custom, bladed jigs for you guys. Man.
Real quick. Meet me behind the shop. I'll get
some. Yeah. That's all. And I would I'd put like 50 of them online, and they'd sell out like that, And they were really cool, and they worked really good, and I liked them. And then so I caught wind that I could use the clean tackle switchblade, and I paid, we paid royalties through purchasing those blades and stuff to Z-Man. Yeah. And we had to put a little sticker on our packaging and stuff like that. So we kind of adjusted the head a little bit for it. And it was really cool. So if you guys have any of those, I still got some left in the shop, but these things made the craziest noise going through the water. They almost, I don't want to use the word whistled coming through the water, but the chattering noise that they made was very high frequency. And they didn't hunt very well, but boy, they smacked that head because of the way that blade was built, and it was crazy. And they caught fish really well. The problem was that there was a lot of components to that blade, and every now and then you'd have one that would fail. That was kind of out of our control a little bit. And then I knew the patent was coming up in 24, so we took when the patent came up, we kind of left it alone for a little bit, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, let's just go in there and build this thing. And we went in and redesigned the whole bait. All the weights are stamped in the head, so you know what size you're picking up. We built the keeper up like really good, put a different hook in it, and so we use the same hook that goes into the bushwhacker because we know that hook is good, solid, can take a lot of force and stuff. But there was a specific thing we wanted out of this bait. I did not care if the blade hit the head. What I wanted was hunting action. And I wanted it to be like the most novice thing, because like with other brands out there, when you're working that bait, they might hunt just a smidge, but you got to pop your rod or pop the reel handle to make it dart off to the side. That is what gets bites. That thing can make all the noise in the world, and it will, chances are it's not going to get near as many bites as one that's darting and dancing around. It doesn't look like it's making a straight line through the water. So with the right trailer, these things can jump almost a foot off track.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And especially the 3/8. The 3/8 goes wild. It goes ham out there. You can put a smaller trailer on it. So we actually have 3.5-inch spunk sheds in stock that if we really want some really heavy hunting action, we put the 3.5-inch spunk shed on this thing, and it goes crazy all over the place. Typically we put 4.5 on there. I don't like paddle tails or craws on them because it takes away from the action of the bait. So I just use straight tail baits on it. But we achieved it very well. And a lot of it, we just had to we moved the eyelet around, and, we kind of positioned the head different, stuff like that. So we went through a couple of renditions of that. Then when we relaunched it, it came out and it sold pretty good and all that. And then some pros started getting their hands on it. And then things started escalating a little bit. So, yeah, it's really cool. We're really proud of it. It's legit.
Wyatt, have you ever fished one strutter?
No, I haven't. No.
Is today the first time you've heard of the strutter?
Yeah. So I did see it on there.
I love it. Everyone else is no longer listening to the podcast. They're all just like searching.
Let me look. Yeah, I was going to say, let me look at the website.
I saw a couple say they put in orders.
Seen a couple people. Mine's in the cart stage right now. Still going through.
So funny.
What do you think about the website? We just got done with that the first of the year. We completely redid it at the first of the year. So I think we did a really good job with it. So we've got a really good team of folks this year. I almost said guys, but we have a gal that's on our team. She's
I don't
not
see her.
Huh?
She's not represented on the homepage.
Well,
You're in trouble.
It was one of those. She's got some sponsors that I didn't want to ruffle any feathers or anything like that. But so we sent her. She throws our buzz baits and stuff. Which I stumbled across her. She tagged me in a video on TikTok.
Okay. And
I went and watched the video. I was like, oh, that's cool, And then I was in one of her lives because she used to go live all the time, walking around the ponds. Down around Orlando. And she was talking about her bait, but she saw me in there and she was like, hey, my bait is almost wore out. And she was catching like toads on that thing. Yeah. So I messaged her. I was like, hey, give me your address. I'll shoot you some baits, I appreciate the shout out, on that and shout out on live and stuff. And so we keep hooking her up and she keeps throwing it. She's got the M1s now, and so kind of curious to see how much she's about to wreck shop with those things. So
I like it. Wyatt, what's in your cart?
I've got a bunch of M1s and a bunch of the WeeWhackers, and different blade colors right now.
Danny, what should be in his cart that's not in it?
Why the copper? Why the because you don't see the different blade colors too often in a lot of manufacturers. But
so I'm the guy that throws the weird stuff, in the world of gold, silver, and black buzzbait blades. It's okay to be weird. That's why we have the odd stuff up there. So copper's kind of a thing from Texas, because I grew up in Texas, and copper's kind of a thing down there. And it was either black or copper. I never threw gold blade on anything until Arkansas. So I got up here to Arkansas, and it's a thing up here. It's we actually have one lake where, pretty much you're not throwing a black buzzbait with a gold blade on it. You can just hang it up. It's not going to happen for you. If you go to the lake that's right down the road from it, no bueno. It doesn't work. You got to throw like a silver or something else. It's not going to work. So I like the weird. I like to offer the things that everybody else doesn't. So we keep the custom in the custom lures. It's just like our strutters. If you go to our strutters and you go to the regular ones, not the custom, But the regular ones, you can go order a green pumpkin strutter, and you can put a gold blade on it, or you can order it with a silver blade or a green pumpkin blade or something like that. You can literally order, like kind of custom build your own bait. And the same thing goes for the buzz baits. It's, you can go over to our standard buzz bait section over there, where the skirted buzz bait, and it's just a run of the mill, it's just a regular buzz bait. But you can get a black skirt or a brim colored skirt with any color blade that we offer on there. We offer, like 5 or 6 different color blades on there. So, I mean, you can get a black buzz bait with a white blade on it if you want to.
Still custom. I like it.
It's custom, and it's very appealing to people. And I like that aspect of it. And it's just, just being able to offer something that nobody else is doing, so that was something when we built the website. So our spinner baits used to be really custom, but we had to, with the Shopify platform, they didn't allow all the variants and stuff that we offered for spinner baits. We kind of had to choke that down a little bit. But it's we put a few variants out there that we thought were good top sellers from the previous platform that we used.
Yep.
And kind of went with that. So yeah, it's fun, man. The whole bait making thing is it's not for the weak-minded or faint of heart. I can tell you that. It is.
I was gonna say, every winter I try to do something with all the downtime I have, because I live in Ohio and it's ice on the water.
You have a lot of downtime.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna pick back up this Friday, so I'll be fishing again. So no more factory tours for Mr. Wendell. I'm going to be on the water. So maybe with a WeeWhacker, I feel like they would eat that up in the rivers around near smallmouth. Anyways, 3 years ago, I was like, I'm going to try my hand at bait making. So I did the whole and went all in, right? Just bought the bait making kit for dummies.
Yeah.
Hated it. I hated it. After the videos and once I understood it, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun, but man, I'm glad there's guys out there like you, Danny, who really enjoy this and putting out a
great product. And we can build custom stuff for people. Like we have people that come in here all the time. We build custom skirts for them and stuff like that. Now I do tell people, if you want something custom made, have something in mind. Find your favorite color that you like to throw, and then make the alterations to it. We can make the alterations to it because, there's so many people that come to the shop and we're like, they're like, man, I want to build something custom. All right, come on, let's go. Let's go back here. Let's pick out what color we want the head. I don't know. What colors you got? Then we take them back to the paint room. They're like, there's like 50 different colors of paint back there, and big buckets and stuff. And they're like, all right, well, what about green pumpkin? All right, yeah, it'd be good, or black, all right, but that's cool. I was like, all right, then we get the heads all, done up and stuff, and then we bring them there. All right, what do we want to start with? I want something green. All right, what color green? What do you mean, what color green? Well, I want green pumpkin. I was like, do you want dark green pumpkin? Do you want green pumpkin with gold flake? Do you want it with copper flake? Do you want it like green pumpkin candy? Do you want, like, here's all the green. It's all over here. And they're just like, well, here, let's do something, and it's typically when we get done with it, it's something that we already offer on the website.
Right. There you go.
So it's kind of entertaining to build, have people come over sometimes, and there's a lot of people that know exactly what they want. There's a lot of people that know exactly what they want, but yeah, it's fun. It's monotonous. We've had people that have come to work for us. We had one guy that came to work for us for one day. And he called me the next day. He was like, hey man. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. I was like, what? He goes, I literally did not move out of that spot for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, well, yeah. He's like, I kind of thought bait making was going to be cool. It could be fun. Oh, well, it is. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, man. I get it. It's like, man, it's almost like there's some days you'd rather put a screwdriver through your ear. It's just kind of one of those days. So, but, it's still fun, being in the industry and the people that I've met and, the relationships and the friends that I've made and, and stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's all worth it. And I've always wanted, I was that guy I was actually talking about this Sunday night with a friend of mine on my way home from South Carolina. I was like, I was like a lot of the folks, like a lot of these kids that I see out there, and, I'm 50 years old now. So when I was in my mid 20s, like I wanted to chase after being a pro angler. I was beating my local lakes up. I was winning some stuff, and I was just like, man, I've got it, man. I can catch fish. Like, and that's the main deal. It's like, you can find them and you can catch them. That's the main deal. I was like, I can do it. And, I went and looked at a boat, and it was a pro's boat. It was a nitro, and it only had like 12 hours on it. And I drew up the paperwork. I said, well, I'll be back down next week. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana. I said, I'll be back next week, man. We're going to do this thing. And I already knew kind of like the avenues that I had to go, fishing media bass, and then fishing Mr. Bass, Arkansas. And then I'd work my way up through the ranks, and then, kind of do the thing. Well, FedEx called me because I was working part-time for them. And that was my only job that time. I actually had quit my full-time job and was just going to work my part-time job, which was 5 days a week, but I didn't have to go until 4 in the evening. So they gave me all day to be on the water. And
I see the logic. Yep.
And it would take me 30 minutes to get off the water and to work. And then I could go home, plug the boat up, and then go back in the morning, and just, because there's no replacement for time on the water. And FedEx, they called me and they're like, hey, we need you to come in for an interview if you'd like. I was like, well, I already work there. They're like, no, we got a job that we want to offer you. So they offered me a manager's position. And I was like, oh no, I have to make a life decision. This sucks. So I was married and stuff, and we talked about it, and I was like, I'm just going to take the job.
Oh no.
I'm going to take the job. It's like, it was more money than I'd ever made before. And so that's how I got to Little Rock. I moved from Texarkana, Texas.
I've been to Texarkana before.
Yeah. The twin.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. It's at the courthouse, at the post office. You could stand in both states at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, that's how I got to Little Rock. I moved up here to Little Rock, and never bought the boat. I had a duck boat. That's what I was fishing out of and stuff. And I ended up sold the boat because I was working, like 16 hours a day, 5 days a week for many years. And and then some life changes and stuff. And then I finally that was in 2007. And then I moved to Little Rock. And then I did not start fishing again until sometime in 2015.
Oh wow!
Like, I checked out from the fishing world, period.
Yeah,
and I bought
Wyatt's the opposite. He checks out of his actual job and
So I bought a boat. Finally bought a glass boat, and I bought a Champion that I always wanted, and then started fishing again, and started fishing tournaments again, and that's kind of what got me started. Kind of got my passion of fishing again. So to say that, I've always wanted to be in the industry is the truest statement. To say that would I have known that I would be sitting where I am right now? No, that I would never, ever, ever in my life thought that I would be making fishing lures.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you're at the bottom of the barrel. You're on a podcast with Wendell Fishing and Wyatt Hammond. It doesn't get much lower.
No.
From here.
No.
Tomorrow's going to be a good day for you when you're at the bottom the night before.
I love doing the podcast, man. I love going, and we get to meet people, we get to tell them our story, and and it's a lot of fun. And that's why TikTok, we got on that, and it blew us up really good. It's really good help.
Shop was money for a while. Did that kind of phase out?
I didn't do any shop.
No. Okay.
I didn't do it. There's a lot of stuff that I don't do, like Whatnot and TikTok Shop and stuff like that. I don't do it because we're really trying to build like a legacy brand now. It's like this brand that we're trying to ingrain into the fishing industry.
Yeah.
And, I feel like we're doing a really good job of it. And I just, it's one of those things where it's like, to me, I know there's companies that are getting out there on Whatnot, and they're like selling legit product, and they're doing like legit stuff, but there's a lot of stuff out there that's just
Garbage.
People are getting their hands on it, and I see a lot of. I could see where a brand could get ruined really quick, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to say you wouldn't see any of my stuff on Whatnot. We've actually had Whatnot stores reach out to us, and I was like, I'm pass, man. I don't want my stuff on there. Just because we're trying to build like that big,
you can
big
control
name.
that branding mess. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's it is. So, but TikTok getting on the lives was crazy, and it was an easy way for us to push our brand and learn marketing, our own brand and stuff. So, and when I first started doing it, I was like, I hate being in front of camera, and then I kind of figured out that I had this wealth of knowledge of old fishing. So I started sharing like basic fishing, with people, like how to basic fish, and people are eating it up. And I was like, this is cool. This is fun. I get to share something that I love doing to the world, and then with the baits on top of it, they get to, kind of share my passion with me.
Yeah. So are you full time?
Yeah, we're full time.
When did that happen for you?
That happened October 3rd, 2021.
Oh.
That was my last day on the job.
That day.
Well, I was technically probably full time before then, because I was actually working more hours building baits and taking phone calls and doing all that kind of stuff. I'd work 9 hours at my job, at my regular job, and then my boss was really cool because I'd be sitting up there dispatching and making sure things were happening for the night, and getting all my employees going and all that kind of stuff. And I was eyeballing spinner baits while I was doing it. I was putting skirts on baits, and I was building baits when I was there. And he got it, man. He knew something big was going to go down. Yep. And so when I left, he was like, it was kind of the writing was on the wall kind of deal. So we had our first little spout of fame in 2021 with the Bushwhacker over on Lake Murray.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushed us up, up the ladder a little bit to be able to do some fun stuff. Kind of gave us the capital and some recognition. And then last year, 25, we had 2. We almost caught lightning in the bottle twice.
Okay.
Patch Slopper was the first one over on Sabine. So we've got the Bushwhacker has a blue trophy under it. And then over at the Bass Pro Tour over on Saginaw Bay, the WeeWhacker was showing out. So there was between 80 and 90 pounds a day being caught on a WeeWhacker.
Wow.
We really thought that tournament was about to be won on it. And then third place.
All right.
So we were the second losers. But the bait got in the gallery. The bait got in the gallery. And that's kind of one of those things that was like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed was that bait in the gallery. So hopefully, hopefully that's, we'll have more of that happen.
Murray and Saginaw Bay on the schedule this year. So if you want to tell us what those were.
So all I can tell you is go back to 2021 on Murray, and then last year's Saginaw Bay. It was
Wyatt's literally going to do that. You know that, right?
I know he will. Yeah,
he will watch 8 hours of film twice.
It was really, dude. It's so cool to see the baits. Obviously, it's going to be cool to see your product out there being used,
right?
But to see the domination that was happening with it was just like one of those you're like, I could have never imagined that to happen. It's like, the bait, the WeeWhacker was never put down. It was just one right after the other. Dudes just weighing in, 2.5, 3.5 pounders left and right. And I was like, good night, man. That is so cool. So
walk me through, and I'm always curious when I talk to people in the industry, and I've talked to some lure makers before, and some of the stories they told me what happens kind of behind the scenes. A lot of competition in that space. And so do you have any frustrations with the kind of fishing lure industry in general, or if you could change anything about it, what would it be?
I wish there was more honesty.
Okay. Walk that out for me.
Things that if somebody wins on his bait and they say it's their sponsors or something. You know,
well, not necessarily that. I'm talking from a lure maker's perspective.
Mhm.
There's, I have no beef with anybody. There's stuff out there that I see that I really chuckle about. There's one right now that's on, that I saw on TikTok that has me laughing. And you know, the deeper you get into these industries, you start to learn the ins and outs of things, and then you start to see where people are buying things and stuff like that. So we see baits or bait companies that pop up, and you know, they're not even American companies. It's like literally stuff off of, you know, overseas websites and stuff
Yeah.
that's being pushed in the, you know, the States. And it's, you know, those companies from overseas are pushing it and they're branding it as an American made bait, and it's not. So, and you know, I've seen branding stuff that's very deceiving and stuff like that. And I know it's all, you know, it's we're pretty transparent on what we do, and we're honest about what we do. You know, we say it's built right here in Arkansas. It's built right here in Arkansas, you know. So
Yep.
we fly the American flag on our packaging, and yeah, to, you know, I wish it would help the industry a lot more if things like Pat happened more to small bait makers. You know, ever
Things
since
like
that,
what happened? I'm sorry, I wasn't following.
Pat Schlapper. Pat
Got
Schlapper. You know, when he was on camera and he genuinely talked about the bait, you know, and he was like, it's made by Brazallo Custom Lures. You know, it's one of my favorite buzz baits. And you know, hey, you know, he's like, let's do something. And by golly, we did everything in our power to bring him on board. And cause he's a great guy, you know, he's a genuine, you know, just a good human being, you know, and I wish, because I know it happens, you know, it happens. People, you know, across the, you know, on this, you know, they're looking at, you know, there's people that are sponsored by other companies. I understand they want to mess with their money and stuff like that, but if there's an opportunity for them to throw a small company a bone, then, you know, that would be cool to see it more often.
Yeah.
You know, if they're throwing XYZ bait, don't just pick up, you know, I mean, we've seen it be like really obvious on camera where it's like, oh, he said he was throwing that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, he was not. He was not.
Yeah, but just the honesty all the way around. You know, I guess that's what I would like to see more of it. I mean, you're always going to see quarreling between bait companies, and this person doesn't like this person, but I don't let that stuff.
Litigious?
I don't let that phase me. And we don't have any beef with anybody. We hope everybody's successful, and we try and pump other companies up. We work with a lot of other companies, and you know, if there's another company out there that makes the same products I do, and they call me up on the phone, guess what? I'm gonna answer that phone. I'm gonna chit chat with them. You know, have a conversation with them. We'll talk. You know, we'll talk shop and stuff like that. I mean, we have our own groove that we run, and we're gonna stay in that groove, and we're gonna do what we do. You know, we're not gonna let those. You know, we're not gonna let trends phase us, or we're not gonna, you know, let that stuff kind of slow us down. We're not gonna change our game for anybody. We build buzz baits and we build power fishing lures, and by golly, that's what we're gonna keep doing. You know.
All right. Got some fun comments over here in the comment section. I think you just got another order. That's 4. I think I've just tracked for people saying that they've ordered. Wyatt
still has it. Sheet over there.
Wyatt still has his in the cart, and the more we talk,
I'm waiting for us to tell what everybody's winning on.
Yeah. So let's go a little tactical. I can't believe we're already at 1 hour and 16. You're awesome guest, Danny. We have pushing almost 100 people live right now. If you have not yet done so, hit that like button. Help get this thing some yardage after it's all said and done. All right, so let's hop into tactical real quick. I got a question for Wyatt, because you might add more stuff to your cart. Wyatt, what's in your cart?
I was looking at the custom strutters. I'm gonna have to put some of those together, because wait
till tomorrow afternoon, because I'm still uploading them. But I've got 3 full boxes of them that we brought from the shows. That's what I was doing before I got on here, was getting them up on the shelf and inventorying them. So there's actually some that aren't even on there. that we didn't have time in between our show runs. We just put them out there for people that weren't going to be at shows. And then we loaded them all back up and took them to the shows. So now we're done. We're going. We got a booth over at Bassmaster Classic, but all we're bringing is Buzzbaits. We're bringing like 10,000 Buzzbaits to the club.
All right.
And obviously the sloppers coming, the WeeWhackers and M1s. That's what we're doing. So the strutters are going back on the website. All the custom colors. Man, we've got I don't even know how many custom colored jigs that we did for the shows. I have a box that basically everybody that picks it up, there's a solid grunt that comes out of when they pick it up. It is just a box of steel and lead. Yep.
That sounds
so
right.
yeah, give me till about lunch tomorrow. I'll have it all up there, and then we'll get it shipped out to your Airbnb for you.
You're about to get some blue trophies under your lures if Wyatt starts slinging them. That's for dang sure. As you can
I'm down, man. I'm down. Let's do it, man. Just look at that camera and say Brazalo. Let's do something.
There you go. Wyatt, what else is in your cart?
Let's see. I know I was looking at some of the crankbaits that were on there, but I know jigs. I saw some rubber in some of the jigs. So
there's a little bit in there. Yeah. Rubbers. I love fishing with rubber jigs, but boy, they're not any fun to tie. They're just not any fun. So we just don't do too many of them. We'll do some personal stuff and like some rubber stuff, but
people come in your shop often. Just want something custom, and is that a different price than?
No,
hey, I need you to modify this or that. You're like, no, we'll make
same price. We ask people if they call us to do custom stuff that we do a dozen run. Obviously, if you're coming in to a favorite color of yours that that you're going to be successful with, and it's your color, you don't have a problem. Back when we started, we'd do custom colors for people, and they would order like 1 jig or 2 jigs, and that was okay. It's like whatever. I was just having fun with it. I had no idea we'd be going, doing this with it.
Right.
So it was fun to us. And so now it's more of a, let's get serious about it, man. If you just want 1 jig, just get one off the shelf. If you want you want your own custom jig, then we're charging the same amount of money as we would charge for a regular jig. We're not going to upcharge you or anything like that. But hey, man, just
I think that's awesome.
Get you a dozen of them. That way, when you break that one off, you got 11 more to go.
Yeah. Pass them out to your buddies. Make some trades. Do some trades.
Yeah.
So Danny? What's not in Wyatt's cart that should be in his cart right now?
The 501. Do you fish jigs, Wyatt?
Oh my gosh, this guy's a jig master.
Dude, the 501.
Every single one behind me.
The 501 jig.
Okay.
So of all of my jigs, that is my pride and joy. So I'm not going to use the word copy in this segment.
Inspire.
So I was inspired.
There you go.
By a JDM jig, and even though I was here making, and this has been recent, I found a JDM jig that I loved. You want to talk of this most compact? It had a 2/0 hook in it. This weird weed guard in it. That thing would go through so much cover, and I throw jigs in there where people would be just terrified to throw something.
You and Wyatt
come out of it, and it even with a 2/0 hook in it was a little tiny jig, and we were catching toads with it. And here I was over here. I don't even know what I can't even make it make sense in my brain right now, but I'm over here paying $13 a piece for whatever I could get my hands on. I didn't even care what color they were because I'd reskirt.
Really? All right.
And then one day it dawned on me. I was like, "You idiot! Make your own." So I did. I sat down and we sketched out, and I had a buddy of mine. He was a kayak angler. He makes glide baits and swim baits now and stuff. Okay. He was good with CAD and stuff. So we built this bait, and the 501 jig. We put a little bit bigger hook in it, and we kind of switched. We kind of based it off of that, but I changed a bunch of stuff because I wanted to be able to do a few extra things like stand upright and rock and come through, different types of cover and stuff. And dude, if you are a jig fisherman, get the 501 jig. It will shock you of what it will come through. And you're going to pick this jig up and you're just going to be like, what? Like this little guy? Yes, that little guy. I trimmed the skirts down, so it's little. It's got a full skirt on it right now, but I always cut the skirts to like a 1/4 inch or less below the hook. And then, we put small trailers on it. We put full 4 1/4 inch trailers on it to get big bulky mass. I had him at a show and I went crazy over one guy's product at a show, and he had a tank, and he come over there and he saw that jig, and I was like, "You jig fisherman?" He said, yeah, a little bit, man. So anyway, he's like, I'm gonna swap you out, man. I'm not gonna charge for them baits. I'm just, like, can I get some of those jigs? And I said, yeah, you can get some of them. So he got some, and he left, and he was gone about 15 minutes. Dude comes charging back over there in my booth. He goes, you're a jig fisherman for real, aren't you? And I said, well, yeah. He goes, that's the only type person that can build that kind of jig. And I was like, okay. And he was like, come here. And I was like, all right. So I went over there and he's showing me. He's like trying to sell me my own bait kind of deal. He's like
jacked up about it.
He's letting this thing drop in his tank and and the skirt on it, because the way we built the jig. So rubber plumes out really big. It's like an instant explosion when it hits on the bottom. And silicone is just kind of like, it just kind of opens up. Well, that 501 jig hits the bottom of it, full silicone skirt, poof, it blows up. And it just keeps moving, and it just keeps blowing out. And that's where the bites come from jigs. It's secondary action that comes out of the jigs. Unlike, soft plastics. Soft plastics when they hit the bottom, typically they're just there sitting, where a jig is constantly, moving. Well, the 501 like plumes out like crazy. And so anyway, he was like super excited about that thing. So, and man, it's just a fish catcher. I've gotten rid of all the rest of my jigs. I keep our flat out jig in my box just for a big, bulky jig. Yeah. But the 501 just like stays tied on. It's hands down. If you're not a jig fisherman and you want to learn how to jig fish, it's the guy to start fishing with, because it will get bit.
I'm gonna have to start me a cart here in a minute. My gosh.
All right. Stop talking about it, because I was adding stuff to my cart and it says only one available.
Which one?
That cart.
Which one?
The WeeWhacker with the copper blade.
Oh, I've got more of those. I just don't know how many more. But I tell you what, look here, because I know that I brought some back to me. I'm gonna go in here and do something for you right quick. Here, I'm just going to go ahead and add like 10 for you, because I know. Oh, did you look at the Tequila Rose one? Yeah, there is one.
Let's see.
So the Tequila Rose is, it was a goof up. The Tequila Rose is a goof up. So I filled out the form wrong to get these blades, these gold blades anodized. Right. And don't ask me. We still laugh about it to this day. That was 2,000 blades that I sent to go get anodized in gold. And for some odd reason, this jackleg over here wrote bright copper on the work order form and sent it off. No, didn't even. And anyway, these blades come back in. I went, oh, somebody screwed up. And so I called her, and I called up there at the place, and I was like, hey, so these were supposed to be gold. She goes, no, they weren't. I've got your work order form right here. So she faxes it back to me and went, well, crap.
Yep.
So then we got it, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do with all these weird copper blades? And then we put it on the bait, and we started looking at it. I was like, you know what? I kind of like it. I think I kind of like it for the new copper. So we call it the Tequila Rose. It's a new copper one. So once the copper goes away,
Yeah.
The Tequila Rose will be it'll be the mainstay that takes over it. But the anodized blades have this completely different sound than plated or just plain aluminum or whatever. It's just an aluminum blade that they anodize. I don't know what happens during the dyeing and the electromagnetic field, Mr. Doom kind of area that they're floating through, but they get hard. The aluminum gets really like firm is the word. I guess.
All right.
And so yeah, it's really cool. So the Tequila Rose is going to be the new copper, and then once the copper is gone, it's gone. It'll be non-existent anymore. The plated copper, plus the plated copper blades got really, really, really expensive.
All right, interesting.
Yeah. So whenever I order, gold blades like the plated blades, they always send me a quote. So it's like, oh, okay, that's how much it's going to cost. Like I had an option to negotiate with you, but anyway, they send us a quote. Hey, it's good. Hey, I need a quote on 5,000 copper, 5,000 gold, and black nickel. They send me a breakdown. I still have it saved. They sent me a breakdown for it, and it says black nickel this much.
Yeah.
Gold plated this much. Copper more than gold. It didn't even have a price on it.
No,
just said more than gold.
More than gold. Just know it's going to be up there somewhere.
I was like, this is a side.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, folks, if you haven't done so, we have 100 live right now. Please hit that like button. Wyatt, I'm going to hand it over to you here in a second to ask all the questions because you got tournaments coming up. You're probably like, hey, I got some more questions here. Real quick, I got a comment in the comment section. Hoover and Yak Bass were having a conversation, but he mentioned something saying the KBF website's fire, by the way. That's because I don't know if it's live yet or he's just testing it, but KBF is going to have a new website.
It's live.
It's live. It's freaking sick. Head over at kayakbassfishing.com right now and check this out. I did the review earlier today, and Chad's been working on it a while. It is just leaps and bounds more easy to understand, I believe. And so sick. Go check that out. It's pretty awesome. All right. The last few questions here. We're going to be landing this plane. So if you have a question and you're listening in for Danny or for Wyatt or myself, go ahead and throw that in the comment section. Wyatt, what do you got, brother?
So we rolled through pretty much all the questions that I have. I mean, somebody's put so much thought. Like you put as much thought in these buzz baits as I do with all the stuff that I mess around with, just sitting there agonizing over every tiny little detail. You've probably gone and experimented with the wire size thickness to make sure that you get the right squeak and everything.
Yep. So just know that whenever we put a bait out, we don't just put something together and just throw it out there. Typically these baits that we put out have been in our hands for no less than 1 year. And then sometimes they might take 6 months through, CAD and master samples and, and all that kind of stuff before we ever say, it's good to go. It never stops there. We're always like, once we get the baits and we get them in, it's like, oh, it's cool. It works really good. All right. We're throwing it. And then all of a sudden you're like, so I see something I want to change. It's a constant evolution on the bait. And some of the stuff that changes on these baits, like people don't even know. We actually did a massive change on something on the WeeWhackers. And I promise you that most every customer out there would never even know it. I mean, it's one of those when I tell you what it is, you're going to be like,
Are you going to tell us? You're going to tease us, make us look.
So the WeeWhacker actually had a flaw in it, and it was something we didn't even see coming. Once we figured out what it was, we're like, oh, crap. Like, it's okay. I mean, we could leave it alone and we'd be fine. But it's in my brain. It can't. It's not fine. It's a flaw. How dare I build something with a flaw in it? So the old WeeWhackers, the sleeve right here, that's on this sleeve right here. We built a sleeve for it, and we built a sleeve that slid right over the wire, and it was just a little bit bigger than the actual wire itself.
Yeah.
And, we put a couple little crimps in it, to kind of make it oval shape. We had to do that to make it oval shape because of the bead. We couldn't get, this is the bead we wanted to use, and the bead would sometimes fall down. So we would crimp it. You'll see all of them have crimps in them. And all of us crimp them different. We all have our little ways that we crimp them and stuff like that. Well, what it did was it took that round sleeve and it oblonged it so the bead couldn't fall down on it. Well, that was fine. That was great. It worked. It was like, all right, we fixed the problem. And anyway, we started going. Well, the problem that we did not anticipate, I'm going to show you on the M1. So this bead spins. It's like a bearing. So it moves free. Well, the WeeWhacker is just like that. So this blade's constantly hitting it. This thing's constantly spinning on this ovaled sleeve that we've got on there. So you can only imagine what is happening. It is basically drilling itself through the bead, or the bead is drilling itself on top of that sleeve. So eventually, some of them,
if you made it
we're going all the way through. That sleeve was going all the way through the bead, and the bead would fall down against the head.
That's a lot of revolutions.
And I was like, that ain't gonna work.
No.
So we put a bigger sleeve on it. So what this did was that the sleeve was big enough that we had to go in and adjust the mold, make the head a little bit bigger to accommodate for this larger sleeve, because the sleeve would poke out the bottom. So we had to put a little bit extra, down here. We shaved a little bit off the top and off the keepers and stuff to keep the weight right on here. But this lead now pours up into the sleeve.
Yeah.
So it makes the connection twice as strong as it was before. So most people would never even notice that we changed that on the bait. There'd be a handful of those tackle junkies out there that would notice it and be like, oh, look, that's good, they fixed that. But the mass market would be like, oh, well, I didn't think anything was wrong with my bait, so whatever.
Getting
so,
better.
Yeah, so it's just little stuff like that, and hooks. We look at different hooks, and then the wire, and then, just all kinds of stuff goes into, like perfecting our craft and making the bait the best that it possibly can be. So just like this new swim jig that we've got coming out, we fish with the prototypes. Like I actually went in last year and built the bait. We built the bait through CAD, and then had prototypes made of it. And then we got like a half dozen prototypes, and we fished with them all last summer and all the way into the fall. We fished with them, and then we finally came in. We made one more adjustment to it, and January 1st, we pulled the trigger on it. So, and we should have the molds next week, and we'll start pouring it. So super excited about it. It's like we righted a lot of wrongs with our swim jig. And so this one's going to be an absolute beast. We're going to have it's going to have two versions. It's going to have a braid version and a standard version. So we're actually going to offer one with a big, massive, like braid style hook in it. Only a handful of colors in that one, because, and then the other one will have, about 10, 12 colors in it. So, I feel confident that when we put a bait out, that it's legit. Like it's going to work.
Tested.
And I can put 100% confidence behind it that it's actually going to do what I say it's going to do. Because I don't want to lie to a customer and just put a piece of junk out and be like, oh yeah, man, it's the greatest thing in the world. No one in the back of my mind. Like I go to sleep at night. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to totally lie to those people. I can't do that. It's just not my nature to do that. So I'm.
No, I hear you. Last question for you, since this is a good show. I appreciate it. So break out your crystal ball. I always love asking this question. Where do you see Brazallo in a couple years, 5 years from now? Like, what's your dreams, your aspirations, your hopes for it?
I don't, we've come a long way, obviously, from where we started. I don't see a ceiling for us, like cap out, like where we just reach this point where I don't know. I had zero plans of launching any new baits this year. I'll
I
just
got
go ahead and
13.
put you. It's we got 11 baits we're launching
11.
out this year. It's like I didn't even realize it was that many. And then I come back from the show yesterday and I look over at the whiteboard in the shop and there's all the baits are listed on the shop, and Tim's one of the guys who works for me. He's like, I just couldn't keep up anymore. So I just started writing crap down. So like every time you would say something, I would just go write it down. And I looked at the list and went, crap. Like, I don't know. Like my brain just like comes up with stuff and it's like, that works. And there's stuff, there was actually more on the docket to get built. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to move the needle. I might build it for myself or something,
Right.
So I will say this: we're going to keep designing and building new product because, in the grand scheme of things, that is what I enjoy most.
Yep.
It's not necessarily the building and the putting the skirts out, and I like, so I've always been a tackle junkie, so I like to get a new bait, and I still do. I still buy baits that I think are really cool out there. And I don't care if it's from a small manufacturer or some big, conglomerate of a manufacturer. If the bait looks really cool, I'm going to go fish with it. I really want to go see, like, what makes that bait tick? Like, what'd you do? That's really cool. We're not out here to knock off anybody's stuff. So if you guys see me come to your booth and I buy something, I'm genuinely excited to go fish with it. I want to go see what it's all about. I was like, it makes me excited to see people being innovative or being different and stuff. And that's what I like doing. So, 5 years from now, I see us like, maybe designing for other people or, designing baits for other people or coming out with something extraordinary in the market that will like completely take the market by storm.
Yeah.
Just one of those baits that's just like, wow, we did that. Like we made that, kind of deal, And so I kind of feel like that'll happen to us, kind of like the Rage Craw thing, where it was like that thing just took the world by storm, the fishing world by storm, or, or the chatterbait itself, that was just like a revolutionary thing when it came out, to say that, I feel like somewhere in our minds, we are capable of that. So I think in 5 years, that's probably where we'll be.
100%, man. I love it. Well, congrats on the success. I know that a lot of times when people, hear about a bait company, like, oh man, what's it like to be an overnight success? And you just kind of chuckle, right? It's like, no,
it's not. No. I can tell you right now, it's not an overnight thing. It's patience, perseverance, like a lot of, you're going to sit here and wonder, you're going to wonder why you're doing it sometimes. So I'll just go ahead and tell everybody. I really haven't told anybody, but May 16th of last year, we were trying to make a decision if we wanted to keep doing this.
Yeah.
My lease was up at the end of July, and I was mentally struggling with the bait industry and with kind of where we were going. We didn't really have a path. And I was talking to my buddy Tyler Ward on the phone, and he was pushing me. He was like, don't do it, man. Don't. Just like, I was like, dude, I'm just kind of tired, man. I'm just like, I don't know, there's easier things to do out there than this. It's like just trying to crack the code where, it's 2 years from where I really wanted to be, and I'm not there yet. I'm just like, I don't know how to get there. And then May 18th, 2 days later, my name is getting like blasted all over Bassmaster Live, and I was like, well, I don't know if that's fate or some gift from God or whatever, but like, okay, I think this is what we're supposed to be doing. Then we're like, let's go.
I feel like the world you live in is the same world I live in with YouTube, right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's tired, grinding away. Then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, what in the world? Why is this video taking off? And it kind of helps reset, but that's wild.
So to all the bait makers out there that may be watching or that are going to watch this or whatever, work hard, be patient, come up with something of your own uniqueness, and have faith in it, and have faith in what you're doing, and and it'll work. It'll do it. Just don't give up. Just keep pushing.
I love it. Good word. Got some people in the comment section. One says, Wham the Hammer is live again. Well, he's live again because the second question is Wyatt the co-host now? Yes, he is the co-host now. Has been since the beginning of the year. So you're going to be pleasantly surprised every show you hop on. So I love having Wyatt on the show. And Danny, appreciate you. Love hearing the story. That was a sick show tonight. So I'll be out there, hopefully getting a lot more eyeballs on it when it's all said and done. Wyatt, any last thoughts?
No, that was it. I'll say, look for the order coming through. I got the I'll put the other side of the credit card up. But I got the card in my hand right now. Be careful flashing that in front of the camera.
I was going to talk about it earlier in the show, but I need to start a bet. Where will Wyatt lose his job this year due to all the requests he put in for?
I may have already been pulled into the office with the hey, just so you know, if HR finds out about this.
Oh, all right. So we need an over. We need an over and under. So what do you think, Wyatt? I'm going to give you, because we're in tournament season. I'm going to say in 2 months. You're going to have the ultimatum conversation.
I was just gone for a week. I'm back for 3 days, and now I'm gone for a week and a half.
Okay, I'm going to bring that back to a month. Where are you guys at in the over and under in a month for Wyatt still having a job because of all the time?
Maybe this is the push he needs.
Well, I remember the last year of working where I didn't want to work, so I wanted to do this full time, and I was like, "Go ahead, make my wildest dreams come true. Fire me, please." It'll force me to start grinding a little bit earlier. I don't know. Is that how you feel, Wyatt? Make my wildest dreams come true?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're waiting for it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Under a month, over a month.
Walk in. I'll be the Huckleberry. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Marty Hughes says Wyatt doesn't need a job. He takes all of our money. Yep, that's right. You fish against Wyatt in the tournament. That's usually what happens. Michael Bradley is under, so less than a month.
Oh.
Dave Hart says, give me an order of the first 20 wham jigs if that happens. Wyatt ties his own jigs as well, and that's a lot of those checks and a lot of those trophies behind them because of
more than half of them.
More than half. That's awesome. All right, folks. Well, appreciate you guys listening in tonight. It was fun. A lot of great interaction coming in from the comment section. And next week, and I'll give Danny, well, before I talk about next week, Danny, where can people find you?
You can find, we're on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel we're going to start putting more content on.
All right.
And obviously over at TikTok. And then you can find all of our products over at our main, at BrazaloCustomLures.com. You can also find us over at Tackle Warehouse. We have some unique stuff that's going in over there in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Tis, there's a new bait going to Tackle Warehouse that is only available over there. And we won't get into that because we're at the end of the show. A little tease there for you.
Cliffhanger, folks. That's called a cliffhanger. Beautiful.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. And
at the Bassmasters, at the Classic, when I roll by your booth, and
it won't be there. I might tell you about it. I will whisper in your ear.
There you go. And deny ever telling me.
But yeah, over at BrazaloCustomLures.com, and you might, we have stores all across the country that have product in them, so you might swing by your local tackle store, and which we support all of our little small mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
We love it. We'll never go big at Bass Pro or Academy or anything like that, just because, well, just don't like that business model.
Man, I wish we had more time. I'd be clawing at that comment from 9 different angles right now.
Yeah.
We'll have you back. We'll have to have you back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real quick, got a couple more comments over here as we as we exit. We have Johnny Bennett. It says, Wyatt, I hope you have some money stashed away because apparently you're losing your job the next month.
Wow.
John Monar Nova said, great episode, but it cost me $150 in jigs and buzzbaits. So still waiting for the release of that Wham jig. You guys are freaking awesome. Next week, we are going to have the science of the strike on. And so we're going to be talking about bass color and taste from a scientific standpoint. They have their own YouTube channel. And I had one of you guys listening and be like, hey, you should reach out to these guys. Never heard of them. Went over there. They're going to be hopping on. So this is going to be like a science take to bass fishing, the science of the strike. All right, folks. Well, you guys stay safe out there on the water. Head over to kfast.co if you have not yet been certified. If you love kayak fishing, I'd love for you to stay safe out there. And I'll see you next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. You guys have a good one.